Do you ever get a can of drank and the can stinks? Oh my god. I got the Arizona sweet iced tea. It smells like Arizona warehouse sweat. Delish.
Sounds terrible.
I know. But I love it. Hello, and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I'm Richard.
I'm Brad.
Well, you know what, Brad? This is very special. I never thought we'd get to our 21st episode.
Me either. Have we already?
No, this is our 15th.
Nice.
I just want to tell you I think that.
I remember when I turned 25, and my friend Shay's like, did you ever think you'd live to see 25? And I said, well, gosh, I hope so.
No, I'd live for nothing. This is as good as it gets, dick. Anyway, this is our 15th episode, and we are going to talk about Norman J. Warren's classic freak-out movie, Terror, 1978 or 9. I'm leaning towards 78.
Yeah, it's 78.
But then I also hear 79. But who cares? Well, who cares when it came out? The important thing is that it did come out.
Exactly.
You can listen to our show on Podomatic. It's hellodoomedshow.podomatic.com. Or you can go to the Doomed Moviethon website and go to the podcast link. And you can check out our archive. You can contact us at the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/HelloDoomedShow. Or you can send an email. My email is richardsplash@gmail.com. And you can go over to the Cinema Somnambulist blog and leave us comments there as well. So do it, and we will read you to yourself later. On the air. On the old stale air. And I'm going to get my notebook out, because I write down what movies I watch now.
I'm going to wing it.
He's going to wang it. Brad, what have you been watching lately?
It was recently my birthday.
Yeah.
Of course, I asked for everything that I could get my hands on. I got the Fernando de Leo Crime Collection on Blu-ray. I already had it on DVD, but, you know, if they put it out on LP, I'd want it on that too.
Or on Unicorn Blood Ray?
Yes. Well, actually, I've got like 2 copies of it on Unicorn Blood Ray. Betamax. And I got some more Eurocrime. Rome, Armed to the Teeth. I picked up the Castellari trilogy, which I'd seen, but I wanted. Revolver with Oliver Reed, Fabio Testi.
Nice.
Some more Milano Ravente, Violent Naples, a lot of Lindsay crime films. I got 3 of the new Genre Lynn Blu-rays. I got Fascination with Blood and Shiver the Vampires, and Lips of Blood is the only one that I've watched so far, and I'm pulling them out. My lovely wife Elizabeth got me all kinds of stuff, as well as Teenage Wasteland, the slasher movie Uncut Look.
Hell yeah.
Justin Kurzweil of the Hysteria Lives website and the Hysteria Continues podcast. It is a brilliant book, beautifully laid out, very exciting.
It's a cat. Meow. Flushing the toilet. It's a cat. Meow.
I also got Any Gun Can Play, the essential guide to Euro Western.
Oh, you bastard.
It is a very nice book as well.
Hey, I wish I knew that existed before you got it.
I know. It was one of the few times that I knew something had existed before you did.
One of the few. It's probably happened like more than twice. But I immediately put that on my wish list. I must have that book.
I remember on my birthday you said, you know, I was really excited that you were having a birthday, and I did not mind that it wasn't my birthday until you told me what you got, and I'm like, Brad doesn't need a birthday. I do.
No, I said more to something like, how dare you have your birthday when I'm not having mine, or something like that.
Yeah, and then I explained how we weren't born anywhere near to each other geographically or on the calendar. Or
hey, big mistake, right?
Yeah, I mean, you calmed down a little bit, but it was still touch and go there for a minute.
I shaved my arm hair off and I felt better.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I also got a very nice Hammer magazine, which is not really a magazine, it's more like a book. And it is chock full of information that I will devour.
Where'd you get that from?
Do what?
Where'd you get that from?
Got that from you.
Hell yeah, you did.
That's right.
That magazine went on for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the copy that you sent me of that one is very informative with lots of pictures and words, as a magazine is often.
And it's so thick, it's falling apart. That's how big it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's collapsing under its own weight. I also picked up, my wife got me Blowout, De Palma's Blowout on Blu-ray Criterion Collection, which had his proto-slasher Murder a la Mode, which, very interesting. I don't know that I know what happened.
I'm not sure what I just watched.
I don't know what I just watched, yeah. I'm sure that I don't know.
Oh my God.
But yeah, just take a second. Lindsay's crime films, I've only seen 2 so far. I've got all his gialli. I had several of his later horror films. I had never delved into his crime films, but man, Violent Naples and Rome Armed to the Teeth, starring Mr. Maurizio Merli, who I am trying to make the Henry Silva of this show.
I am totally down with that.
Man, that guy, if I saw him on the street, I would kiss him on the lips.
He'd let you, too.
It wouldn't be weird because he's dead.
Yeah, he'd be a skeleton.
He wouldn't have lips.
Nope. You'd have to hover.
As you can tell, I've had my crazy pills for the night. What have you been watching?
Well, I ground up my crazy pills and then snorted them. But actually, no, I'm just drinking my Arizona Southern Style tea. Arizona, the one tea you'll need when it's time for you to have peed. Brought to you by Arizona Iced Tea.
Nice.
Actually, usually this show is brought to you by, like, Cherry Coke or something, but I guess I'm feeling healthy? No, that can't be it. I've watched quite a few things, but I'll keep it short-ish, because I slept through a bunch of things. I've been trying to change my sleeping schedule from between 8 and 10 hours a night to 5 or 6 hours a night.
Wow.
And my body is getting really pissed off, so anytime I hold still, I fall asleep.
Man, I can tell when you're asleep. Because
I'm not texting you?
You'll text me, hey, I'm putting such and such in. And then I'll text you like in 20 minutes. I'm like, how's that working out for you? And I'll get nothing, and I'll tell Elizabeth, Richard's asleep. She's like, how do you know? I'm like, I know. And then like an hour later, you're like, I'm watching so-and-so, different film. I'm like, oh, cool. How was that other film? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I did that a couple times over the weekend. My big Euro crime marathon didn't go so well. But I did start with a great film. I started with Rulers of the City, which you sent me, and I loved. I was really down with Rulers of the City. Great Fernando De Leo. I've liked every crime film of his I've seen. I haven't loved every crime film of his I've seen, but the guy was amazing. And I watched something called The Executioner 2, Karate Inferno, starring the one, the only, Sonny Chiba.
Nice.
Which blew my mind, and then took my mind down a back alley and raped it repeatedly. And I liked that. Apparently, it was friggin' awesome. I'd seen The Executioner, the first one, and I really enjoyed it, but I didn't remember it at all. And I went into the sequel pretty cold, and you don't have to have seen either one to watch either the other, you know, but holy shit, it's just a bloody kung fu comedy with just unrepentant, filthy humor. I mean, even going so far as to make fun of the only American character as being smelly.
Right.
That was awesome. And
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. Sorry about Pearl Harbor, yo. But it was really good. It was a really, really good movie. It was a lot of fun. Definitely gonna watch that again. I'm gonna get The Executioner, the first one, just to have both, because man, that was good shit.
Alienate our Japanese fans.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
They alienated us first. Alienated that. Hey, come on, man. Sorry. My wife is out of town, so the cat, Crisco, is going bonkers looking for attention.
I worry for your safety.
And he's puking a lot, so I mean, I don't really want to touch him, but it's happening anyway. I also watched one of my top 10 films of all time, and that was Apocalypse Now.
Mm-hmm.
Love Apocalypse Now. Hadn't watched it in several years. It was really good to return to it. Hot summer nights in West Palm Beach, I would throw on Apocalypse Now and just watch the shit out of it, and I would, whatever girl I was dating at the time would be forced to sit through it as well. It's like my acid test, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Grilling them on what they thought of the ending, you know. Did he call in the airstrike? Did he call in the airstrike? Which apparently I was the only person who ever questioned that. I was like, I don't know if he did it or not, and everyone's like, duh, of course he did.
There was actually some debate about the ending. There were several different endings, and Coppola had several different ways of looking at it, but if I understand correctly, his intent was for you to not think that he'd called in the airstrike.
Oh, okay. So I'm not just some dumbass.
That the airstrike was called in.
Okay, so I'm not just some bonerhead.
No.
Bonerhead. I watched the first three, the only three so far, Paranormal Activities.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen 1 and 2. I love them again the second time. Loved 3. The wife, mother-in-law, and I all got creeped out. It was a lot of fun. I guess that's it. That's what I watched. I have a few other things, but nothing over the top spectacular. It was a good time for movies since our last recording. So, Terror.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Mr. Norman J. Warren.
Uh-huh.
I will briefly talk about how I found this movie.
Okay.
A while back, I picked up the Horrible Horrors collection. I think it was one of Rhino's first horror collection, like cheapo disc collections of movies. And before I watched any of them, I looked them all up, and I found this guy who I'd never even heard of named Norman J. Warren, who had done some horror movies, and I watched Satan's Slave, which is excellent. And immediately after that, I watched Terror, and I think I talked about this on the last show we did. I hated Terror. I thought it was stupid. And luckily, some folks talked me into checking it out again, and I watched it again, and now I really like Terror a lot. And it's a movie that is just improves with each viewing. So I'm glad that I have now watched it 3 or 4 times. And I'm also glad that there's a nice widescreen version of it floating around out there. And I'm glad that we decided after talking about it last week, yeah, right. Our last show that we agreed to make it an episode. So that's where I am with Terror. What about you, sir?
It was something that I put in my queue flicks, and it was unavailable. And I want to say that we discussed it in our first or second episode about how you said that I needed to see it and I wanted to.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that now.
Yeah. Anyway, I got my hands on a download of it, and as soon as it came out, on double set with the Devil's Men from Scorpion releasing, I got it. And it was actually my Valentine's Day gift from my lovely wife.
Oh.
Thank you. I was blown away by it when I saw it. And then we got this nice, cleaned up copy. And I'm still blown away by it. It's my favorite Norman J. Warren film. Quite good. In fact, they're putting Satan's Slave out next month. And supposedly it's the first time ever fully uncut. And I'll be getting that.
I want that big time.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, when you said let's do Terror, I'm like,
It really does happen. We talk about doing a show and then we do it. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Hey, I actually really like IMDb's plot description here.
Let's hear it.
Royal ancestors feel the wrath of the curse of the condemned witch, Mad Dolly, who spews forth her prophecy while she is burned at the stake. The victims suffer death by having their heads removed in various fashions, getting their limbs caught in animal traps, knife wounds, and other methods of medieval torture.
Yeah, I read that, and it doesn't make any... Royal ancestors? Isn't it royal descendants?
Yeah, they were descendants. They weren't exactly royal. And I don't remember that many heads coming off, but that was pretty good. Maybe we'll come up with something better.
Here's how I would put it. Years ago, a kid drowned because camp counselors weren't watching it.
And then after that, his uncle, his aunt's lover, found a little box.
And
if you open the little box,
he escaped from a mental hospital to try to kill his sister.
Well, I'm thinking that the cinnamon bites are coming to kill him.
No, I think there's a group of rebels that are against the evil empire.
Wait, are we talking about Ghosts of Mars?
Yes.
Yes. Do we need a break already?
The genesis of this film, they had done Satan's Slave,
right?
And that was a good sized hit.
Okay.
The producers and Norman J. Warren got to talking about some of their favorite situations and scenes from horror films, and they decided to put together maybe a movie with these scenes in them. And in the meantime, Norman J. Warren and Les Young, who is the director of photography, saw a little film called Suspiria.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, let's just ape Suspiria in some ways and include these little things in them. Little situations and scenes. And they contacted David McGillivray to write the screenplay, who had worked on Satan's Slave, but also had worked with Pete Walker.
Oh, yes, he did, on House of Whipcord and Frightmare.
Mm-hmm. And my personal favorite, Schizo.
And The Confessional. Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Sweet. Mm-hmm. See, so, I love IMDb's.
Right here, you have a combination of coming together of two of the bigger post-Hammer British horror directors. And Pete Walker, which I think is kind of cool.
That's awesome. So, in the plot, there's two cousins, James and Anne. James is played by John Nolan, and Anne is played by Carolyn Courage, which is a frickin' amazing name. And they're having a little party after a very hilarious screening of the opening of the film, which is a flashback / horror movie that they made about their
trick.
What's that?
It's a nice little trick they pull on you.
Yeah, you think you're watching this kind of good, kind of horrendous period piece with the witch cursing everyone and
very Hammerish.
Yes, very very Hammer, but more of a parody of old Hammer stuff. Carolyn Courage also plays her ancestor in this scene, as she's being assaulted by... No, I'm fucking it up. Dude. Okay, so... I knew I'd hit a snag here somewhere. The scene where the witch has cursed everybody. They've already burned her at the stake. The father goes back to the house in mortal terror because he's scared of the curse, and two arms shoot out of the wall and strangle him. I was like, man, this better be a comedy, you know? I was like, oh god.
It was totally unexpected.
Right. It was unexpected, but it was also retarded. So, once we see the witch, her spirit grabs this huge sword off the mantle and slaughters. And then the credits roll for this movie inside a movie. And we see that James and Anne are having a party at their ancestral home to screen this piece of crap that they made. Or no, wait, did she? Yeah, she starred in it, and James directed it. Oh, the bird just woke up. And of course, at this party, a cheap parlor trick turns into a very scary situation.
The blonde was extremely attractive.
Yeah, who was that? Who was that masked woman?
It was it Carol?
Glynis Barber.
Yeah, it's Carol.
That's her.
Mm-hmm.
She gets hypnotized.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, in the documentary, they talked about how they tried to find her to talk to her, and nobody could find her.
Some of her photos online are pretty recent, so...
Really?
Yeah. She's aged very well. She's very cute. She's extremely cute in the movie. Her and this goofball. Maybe I wrote down some names. That'd be nice.
Gary?
I think you're right. I think it was Gary, the sexy, I can't button my shirt up past the navel guy, with complete with gold chains. He and Carol have this little shtick worked out where he pretends to hypnotize her.
And he was actually going to play a larger role in the film, but he had a seizure on set.
Whoa.
And the doctor told him that he couldn't. Because if you notice, he kind of disappears.
Oh yeah, he starts his little parlor trick, and then it fails. And then he hypnotizes Anne, who of course is eerily hypnotizable. That was not an easy sentence to get out. And of course she grabs the sword and starts swinging around trying to kill her cousin, Mr. James. But yeah, after that whole scene, the dude's gone. I mean, does he ever show up at the movie studio? I don't think so.
No, he actually has one little bit part that we're coming up on. Another little tiny bit of business.
So everyone calms down after the violent incident. I think a window blew open and some glasses got shattered in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. It was just it was a downer, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then Anne leaves the party. Mm-hmm. And in a very impressive stalking sequence, someone is chasing her and trying to kill her. And that someone totally succeeds.
Yeah, this is where we see Gary again, because as he's leaving, he pulls out in his car, and she is pinned to a tree.
Yeah. She's stabbed through the throat, mm-hmm. pinned to the tree. It's very very slashery, a little giallo-y, a little Suspiria-y.
Yeah, and already you're seeing, without any kind of without them beating you over the head with it, you're already seeing some Argento touches where you're basically getting from set piece to set piece. It's not that the plot is bad or even minimal, but you can see that they were taking notes when they saw Suspiria.
Yeah, and the plot is so simple that only I could screw it up. Next, we get to go to the movie studio where James works and where all of his friends and associates go to make their wonderful, beautiful films. And we see some cool posters in the background. In his office, we see a poster for Satan's Slave. And we see a poster for Thriller. Is it a Thriller, A Cruel Picture? Or they call her One Eye in the background. That was pretty sweet. The character in the movie that is my frickin' favorite, of course, this would be my favorite. One of James's associates at the movie studio is shooting a porno. And he's got these two actors in a tub. And the girl is named Viv. She is hot. And she is played by Trisha Walsh, who I know next to nothing about. She didn't do a whole lot, mainly TV stuff. But she is just my kind of slut, you know what I mean?
Did you happen to catch the name of the film they were making?
No, what was it?
Bath Time with Brenda.
I remember seeing Bath Time with Brenda 3.
Right.
As a young man.
Well, 2 was kind of a prequel, and then 3 picked up where the first one left off. Well,
2 was the one with the homosexual overtones.
Yeah, and it was basically how Brenda got dirty and needed a bath.
Right. And 3 was when Brenda learned how to control her dreams and could fight back. Yep. And 4 is when she found out her origin story.
Right.
And 5 is the dream child. Let's just stop that.
Okay. So, Dolores, Anne goes back to the hospital she lives in, and she's got blood on her hands. And Dolores runs the hospital, and she's an older lady who is completely delusional.
Oh.
Her acting career.
I love that character.
Vita Mills called her. And once again, it's a character that serves pretty much no narrative function other than to just kind of make you laugh.
Yep. She's the Sunset Boulevard reference in the movie, and which I appreciate very much because I love Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, she's very Glorious Swanson.
Yep, very funny. We'll be seeing more of Viv later since she and Susie, another character, they all live together in this really, really nice place. Well, nice as in I want to live with the three of them.
Right.
But yeah, we get introduced to Carol. No, it's not Carol. We get introduced really quickly to Anne, just being a fucking weirdo. I mean, we already saw her with the whole, a little thunder. Ooh, scary.
Wow.
I don't know if you can hear that.
I can.
If the power goes out suddenly, you'll know that we lost the file that we're working on. Let me stop and say real quick.
You are about to experience terror. Terror is being alone in a dark house. Terror is being pursued by the devil himself. No one can escape terror. Terror, rated R.
The whole sequence with Anne washing the blood off her hands is freaking awesome. It's one of those moments in a movie where it shows you exactly what's going on, but the other characters that you are watching, they don't respond to it properly. Like, they don't run for their lives or call the police. If I see somebody washing blood off their hands and I knew they were at a party where someone was murdered, I don't care who the fuck they are. I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go ahead and call the cops.
What if they were like slaughtering hogs or something?
I don't care.
Okay.
I'd turn your ass in, Brad.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Just your ass. Not the rest of you. Oh, I almost forgot to mention that Viv says, I didn't leave my knickers in here, did I? I love that. You know where my favorite sequence of the movie is, right?
Is it Susie in the car?
Nope. It's at the strip club.
The strip club comes after Susie in the car.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the order of events, dude. I just have notes. Oh, so the scene where her car breaks down happens before they go to the nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I had this flip-flopped in my mind. But yeah, there's a great, more great stalking scenes.
Yeah, she leaves in her car, and it's pouring the rain. She has car trouble. She gets out of the rain and just runs into a cottage. And it just so happens that no one's living in this cottage or no one's at home. And she calls for a mechanic. And I didn't really catch who she called. If she called the operator, I don't know how that worked in 1978 in Britain.
Yeah, it seemed really easy and a great response time.
Yeah.
And that was Susie, right?
Right.
Okay. She's the one who, yeah.
Or whoever she calls is she pauses at the right moment. It's very ominous to leave it open. I think she's gotten disconnected. Well, then all of a sudden she hears things, and she's running around the house trying to hide, and you're following someone walking through the rain into the house, and he's coming for her. Finally, he walks into the room where she is, and he says, "Did you call for a mechanic?" And he's like 9 feet tall. Do you know who he is?
I just saw the name, but it's not registering. Who is the mechanic in this movie?
It's Peter Mayhew, and people all over the world will better know him as Chewbacca.
Holy shit! He's even wearing a Chewbacca T-shirt on IMDb. Sweet. Okay, so
he is tall. Like there's no.
Yeah, he's disproportionate to normal human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, tall people.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, he shows up. It's such a beautifully shot moment because the door kind of bursts open and there he is with the lightning from the storm behind him and everything. It's really cool.
Once again, they're setting up a narrative, but Susie's car breaking down in the rain has nothing to do with anything.
Right.
You know, and I for one appreciate that.
What was the main character's name in Suspiria? Wasn't it
Susie?
Oh,
Susie Banyan.
OMG. OMG God.
LOL.
Laughing. WTF the fuck. LMAO. Ass off. Anyway.
So now we're to your scene.
Okay, my favorite scene, of course, is the strip club. These actresses, they can't pay the bills working on these horror movies, so they gotta work as cocktail waitresses in a strip club. Of course, the strip club has the fucking greatest stripper ever. Is she credited in the frickin'... Yes, her name is Tanya Farova.
She is.
She is quite a special lady. This woman has a little pixie haircut, dyed bleach blonde, and she wears leather and a bullwhip, and I think that's about it.
She's extremely ugly.
She is not extremely ugly. She is extremely fucking hot. Don't listen to Brad. She is hot as hell, and I don't even like bondage chicks, but she is, the way she, pretends to lick that bullwhip handle, oh yeah.
It looks like Annie Lennox got run over by a truck. She's really an extremely attractive woman.
And she's got I think she had black lipstick on. It was fucking great. But she's doing this.
To edit all this out, but man.
Yeah, right. And she's whipping the stuff around and just being all kinds of nasty with her really, really nice breasts, which were really, really nice. And there you go. That's the end of the movie. Oh, wait. There's a guy named Phil the Greek. None of the girls want to go over to the table of Phil the Greek, which is really funny. And do you remember what he says to Anne? He's like, the sucking. Sucking? Oh. So, of course, he has to die because, he asked her about the sucking.
Right, of course.
He dies really badly.
Yeah, I feel kind of sorry for him.
He goes out after after he tries to molest Anne, they throw him out, and he goes walking down the street and gets the Garrett around the neck, and then the killer, whoever it is, throws his ass onto a spiky fence.
Uh-huh.
And that's the end of Phil the Greek. Oh no, wait. Does he end up in the trash compactor?
Yes.
Yeah. And then the next morning, his body was in the garbage? Or, no, wait, am I mixing that up with some other movie?
No, they find him in the garbage.
Okay. But do they find him in time before they throw him in the garbage truck and he gets all mashed up?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't dream that, did I?
No.
Okay, that really happens in the movie. Thank you.
We're back to the porno set, and John is eyeballing the stage light up above,
James.
and the rope begins to loosen.
Oh, it's James. He's no John. The actor's name is John.
That's what I did.
Yep. Hey, it's very important that we get this right, man. This is an important episode.
He later appeared in Batman Begins.
No, that's Christopher Nolan. Who was he in?
Nobody.
He was George Fredericks.
I don't know who that is.
Me neither. Okay, so
The rope on the stage light begins to loosen,
and
it falls on the porno director, who folds like a cheap suit.
Well, I would too if that big old fucking heavy light fell on me.
Yeah, and then they turn around, and James. See, I've written John, and then I've written James, so I don't know what I'm doing. James has left. The door is swinging shut.
Uh-oh. He's gone.
This all leads into a question that I'll ask you later.
Okay.
If this train wreck carries on.
After this terrifying incident at the movie studio, then we follow Viv and them back to the boarding house where the chicks live. With Susie and Anne and everything. While Viv is really disgustingly putting on her makeup, which apparently chicks just spit into their makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about this?
No.
She's like putting on eyeshadow or something, and in order to get it to spread properly, she's totally spitting into it, which is really sexy.
Flush it out, by the way.
Yeah. Then, while she's doing that, all of a sudden blood starts dripping on her face. From the ceiling. And it is awesome. It's like one of those moments that I just love. Love to pieces.
Yeah, it's very nice.
She freaks out, starts screaming. Susie's like, chill, bitch. It can't be what you think it is. I'm going to go upstairs and look. We're going to see what happened. She goes upstairs, and it's a bucket of paint. Blood red paint that someone has spilled all over the floor, and it's leaking through the ceiling. While Susie's making this discovery, the killer shows up and makes real blood by stabbing Viv to death in a very, very awesome death scene.
Yes. There's a very nice overhead shot of her when she's dead.
Oh, yeah, you got the blood splattered all over the white walls of this frickin' hallway. And it just reminded me of Halloween for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Every time I see that scene, I think of Halloween. Even though there was, like, no blood in Halloween. I guess I associate it with the scene where Laurie falls down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I do that. Probably the stairs.
Anything that reminds you of Halloween, I'm for.
Hell yeah. That's why I clip the coupons, baby.
That's right.
I don't know what that meant. Glad I said it. That's, oh, I know why I said that. Troy, over at, the Nashi Cast, that's his new catchphrase. He says that on he says it on every show, and he goes, that's why I clip the coupons, baby. How did you get in here, dog? Oh, he's a sneaky dog. I have the chain on the door, because the dog will eat the cat poop if I don't put the chain on the door. and he just snuck in and out real fast. So the chain is not a cat poop eating preventer anymore.
Not a deterrent?
Nope. Yeah, I'll have to shorten the chain. This is really fascinating for you listeners at home.
Dogs will eat cat poop, huh?
Dogs don't eat dog poop that much. They eat other species' poop. I've caught Shadow eating cat poop and squirrel poop.
Wow.
Yep. And then when he poops it out, I have to go through it and separate it.
Right. Keep it separated.
Gotta keep them separated. Oh, wrong song. I started doing Ministry.
Wow.
I hear a mashup there with Ministry and those fucking assholes who recorded that Gotta Keep Them Separated song.
The Offspring.
Yeah, those fucking bastards. It's like Phil the Greek says, you know the sucking? But what I was trying to say was Troy's new catchphrase on the Nashi Cast, which he's used from episode 12 to 25, is, that's why I clip the coupons, baby. So I'm, Troy, if you're out there, I'm stealing that from you, buddy. That's my new catchphrase.
I don't remember that at all.
I know.
So we go back to...
That's why I clip the coupons, baby.
So we go back to the porno set, and Philip is there. And I have read that it is obvious that Philip and James are lovers. Now, did you get that feeling?
No, not at all. That's, no, but I'll be looking for it next time.
See, that's what happened to me, is that I didn't see it until I read about it, and then there's kind of some furtive glances and some hands on necks.
Oh, okay.
Where you're like, I wonder if... But it could be taken either way.
I still need to go back. I still need to go back and see that. But yeah, I guess that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, fictional characters being in love.
No. The guy who plays Philip is pretty cool. His name's James Aubrey.
Uh-huh.
He's been in some good shit.
Uh-huh.
He's been in The Hunger, for one thing.
Uh-huh.
He's also been in an obscure, very irritating film called Riders of the Storm with Dennis Hopper. Oof. It's a frickin' time travel movie. It's like...
I didn't catch that one.
What I remember of it is really terrible, but I could be wrong, but I think I saw it when I was a kid on VHS, and it was... Oy. But yeah, this guy's been in a lot of stuff.
He's in the documentary, and he seemed like a very pleasant person.
Yep. I let him put his hand on my neck.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so the bathtub catches fire. There's lots of green gel lighting. There's film stock flying everywhere.
Yeah. The disaster in the studio is good.
Yeah. You know what that film actually is?
What?
It is scratched prints of Saturday Night Fever. No joke. It is.
That is some appropriate shit. Now, was it I wonder if it was the R-rated cut of Saturday Night Fever or that horrid PG cut that they run.
No idea.
Oh man, I hate that Saturday Night Fever was so popular that they cut the cursing out and cut out the more sexual stuff and just made it more of a movie about dancing.
Uh-huh.
So they could make more money off of it. It wasn't just that it was a TV cut, it was actually a PG theatrical cut. It cuts the balls off that movie completely. It's like, yeah, dancing's awesome, woo! The thing I like about the film Attacking People is there's a short film that used to play on HBO when HBO was brand new, where an editor is up late at night in the studio, and the film he's working on comes to life and eats him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really old short film. I do not remember the name of it now. It's something ridiculous, but it was like a 5 or 10 minute short, and he's trying to get away from this pile of cannibal film, and he does not make it. It's pretty awesome, but it really disturbed me as a child. So when I see films where film stock is actually attacking people, it kind of gets to me for some reason. Can you think of other movies where film has attacked people? Or been used to kill someone?
Not offhand.
I can.
What do you got?
First, I got Ruby.
I haven't seen Ruby.
Don't watch it. Okay, I'm not going to say don't watch Ruby. I need to revisit it. It's this Exorcist ripoff with Piper Laurie. And a dude gets, I think he gets hung by the neck until dead by some film. And the other one, where someone gets strangled to death with film, is Blade in the Dark.
Ah, yeah.
Directed by Lambava, which has my favorite line in all of Giallo's in it.
Lay it on us.
This is all the whiskey that you possess? I love that line, dude.
The whole set falls apart.
Oh, yeah.
And lots of green gel lighting, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs out the door, he falls down the stairs, he lands in an open window, and what happens?
A piece of glass is hanging precariously over Philip's neck. And instead of, sitting up or moving, he just stares at it and screams. It comes down and half decapitates him.
Uh-huh.
You know what? It's like third decapitates him. It's not even half decapitates.
No.
But that reminds me of another Dario Argento movie.
Lay it on us.
Inferno. Dario Argento's Inferno.
Which supposedly Argento ended up seeing, too. Supposedly.
Of course he did. He was probably pissed. He's like, hey, you can't rip me off. I'm Dario Argento. I invented the potato stacker at Applebee's. Oh, forget it. I really love Applebee's. Did I tell you about that?
My dad loves Applebee's.
I'm going to have dinner with your dad now. And Lietta will be there too. And you're invited. And your wife is invited.
We will be across the street at a better restaurant.
Fuck you. Hey, does Carl listen to the show?
No.
Hey, Carl, you're not invited to Applebee's, you dick.
It doesn't matter. He doesn't listen.
Shh. One day he'll know. Carl is Brad's friend. Well, that's all I'm going to say. No homosexual overtones there, unless Brad wants there to be there.
Policeman gets smashed by a car. Next.
Who's driving the car?
The ghost.
Oh my god, Bear is driving. How can that be? Did you get that one?
No,
Let's leave it at that then.
Okay, what about the Return of the Curse of the Creatures ghost?
I don't know that one.
I'm afraid of the creature. I'm afraid of the ghost. I don't know what to be afraid of.
I don't know what that is. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
Alright.
Mine was from the Clerks cartoon.
Ah.
The ill-fated, disastrous Clerks cartoon that there is a whole 6 episodes of.
Mine was from Mr. Show.
Oh. That survived many more seasons.
It's a black and white horror film parody, and it's the Return of the Curse of the Creature's Ghost.
Nice. I need to see that. No one's driving the car, attacking people. I love it. The cop gets run down pretty viciously. Seemed like an innocent guy. Is this the same car that's attacking Anne later? Who gets attacked by the car?
Right, Anne goes flying in a car.
Oh, okay. Which is hilarious.
Yes.
Which, it's shame on me for not loving this movie the first time. I'm so stupid.
It's not as silly as it sounds, her in this flying car. I mean, it's silly, but it's not as... You're not like, what are they doing? You're just like, oh, okay.
Car's flying.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, prefigures Harry Potter a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I knew there was some other references here.
So, she falls out of the car. She runs into the house.
Okay, when Anne goes back to the house, we should warn people this is the spoiler. So here's the spoiler section of the show.
All the stuff, the wind's blowing, stuff flying around. She grabs an axe. She runs and attacks a curtain, and Jane behind the curtain.
Yeah, it sets you up. You think that, there's some kind of malevolent being, hiding behind the curtain, of course. It's just the malevolent being of James. Which is, it's pretty cool, because at this point in the movie, you have no fucking clue what's going on.
No.
After the flying car, you're like, okay, all bets are off, so it's a total surprise. James is behind the curtain with a gun, and the moment she hits him, the gun goes off. And it kind of wakes you up, like, what? And, it's awesome.
Uh-huh.
He deserved better. So did she. So, after that happens, after she's killed James, that's fulfilled the prophecy, right?
Did you say she shot him with a gun?
No. No, the gun went off when she hit him. But, she's fine, but she's fulfilled the curse that the witch put on their family.
Right. When the witch appears, right then.
Yes, the witch appears. She looks
Or
like...
green gel lighting and red gel lighting.
Yeah, we'll talk about the lighting in a minute. But she, in a very, very awesome, very satisfying moment, the sword that's been doing all this swording flies across the room, impales Anne, and Anne goes flying across the room with the camera following her, or a camera strapped to her. I don't know how they did it. It's freaking genius. And she's impaled on the mantle of the house on the sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome, and it's also badass. I love it.
From the time that she gets back to the house, when the witch appears, floods through the fog, the door bulges kind of like it does in The Haunting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the rubber doll.
Mm-hmm. The sword flies through the air, and to me, it's a very Sam Raimi kind of camera move.
Oh, yes.
That's a good somewhat like Carpenter and Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
You follow the action. When the sword hits Anne, she and the sword fly through the air. It's green, with the green lighting on her.
Yeah.
And she has her hands open. She's staring blankly. She looks like a mannequin. It's really her.
Yeah.
She looks like a mannequin. And this is what we've been building up to the whole film.
Oh yeah. This is the money shot.
She's pinned to the wall with red and green lighting and lightning, and that's it.
Yep. And the music just kind of cuts out when she hits. It's like silence when she hits there and gets pinned.
Now, my question to you: Who is doing the killing during the film?
Well, I think it was both of them, because Anne had the blood in her hands,
right?
But James, the king of the dirty looks, I think he had the psychic powers.
Right.
So when someone's getting stabbed with a knife to death, I think it was Anne, and I think James was the one doing all the psychic phenomena she got.
Because you could say, well, it's the witch come back, but why would the witch kill people that it perceived to be enemies of the people it's going to kill?
Right. Such
as the Greek.
Exactly. It's a little strange, but yeah, I think both of them. What happened to Susie? Now that we're talking about it, because Viv gets stabbed to death. Carol dies way early. What happens to Susie?
We don't know. I mean, she just
disappears. See, there's another death scene that we could have had right there.
That's another Argento scene where characters come in and leave.
And nothing happens to them. Hey.
The only thing that's missing from this film is abandoned narration.
And Susie Bannion learned the wheels of steel and cold rocked the ballet school.
But no, this film, under much heavier than ours, critical inspection, it doesn't hold up as far as a narrative would be concerned. But as just a dreamlike horror film with set pieces, is inspired somewhat by Suspiria, I really, really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is very entertaining. I love the lighting, like we're talking about. Cannot stress enough. When you don't know what to do with a movie, turn some red, green, orange, pink. I don't give a shit. Make some weird lights happen, and that's what this movie does. There's weird reds and greens all over this thing.
And this film did very well too.
Good. Should have. It's. I mean, it gets better with each viewing. It's like, It's loud. I mean, this movie is loud. At some point, you're going to be turning your speakers down, because this just, once the wind and the lightning and the cars start flying, you're just going to turn this shit down, man.
You know, you and I travel in some giallo film circles. We know some people that enjoy the genre.
Yeah.
And for this to be, I've heard some people call it a British giallo, which it's not really, because it's not really a giallo.
No.
It's very heavily influenced by Suspiria, yet not a lot of people this film its proper due, I don't think.
It's time to check this shit out. If you haven't already. And if you don't like it the first time, wait a while and watch it again, because that's what worked on me.
Yeah, it's back to back. I had a big Norman J. Warren-thon.
Yeah, you did.
And back to back with Satan's Slave, it's very heartening, but it's also very sad, because you see the documentary with Norman J. Warren, and he's only got one arm.
What?
And yeah, he's only got one arm.
I did not notice that.
You slept through the documentary, didn't you?
I watched a few minutes of it. That's why you know more about this movie than I do. I watched the deleted scenes, though.
Nice. The thing that I brought away from hearing Norman J. Warren is that, and not to drag Naschy back into everything, but Naschy was a fan of the films, the Universal horror films, and that always came through that he was a horror film fan. And that, to me, is what Norman J. Warren, what always comes through when hearing him talk, is that he was a fan of horror films, and he brought an excitement and enthusiasm to it. Bloody New Year was done for like $40.
It shows.
But it's almost like the thing that I always talk about with my wife about Spanish horror is that they will throw everything in. And more often than not, it'll work. Like Naschy's exorcism picture is not just about an exorcist or a demon inhabiting a body. You know, there's murders, there's stuff thrown in. You know, Horror Rides to the Tomb has got all kinds of stuff in it.
Oh, yes, it does.
Yeah, and films like that, it works. And that's kind of what I see with like Bloody New Year. He throws a little bit of everything in there. And in the end, it works for me. It's a very enjoyable film. You know, it's just very sad that he didn't make more horror films. He made a horror film since 1987.
Jeez. I think that any time I didn't really enjoy a Norman J. Warren movie, it's a sign I need to go back and watch it again. Because I didn't like Prey very much. And I didn't like Bloody New Year that much. But I kind of saw how they were both special, so I'm going to go back and give them another look. And I did not see much special in Seminoid, or in Seminoid.
Yeah. But there is some special there.
Alien rape?
Yes.
Oh. I get that at home.
Of course. No, it's just that they have the audacity to try to make these small budget pictures look better. And a lot of times they don't. I mean, it's not like you're going to see somebody with a hairdryer, you know, as a laser or anything. You know, Prey was done in like 10 days or something.
Yeah. And
it comes across as a Jose Ramon Larraz film to me. That's a very strong vibe.
There you go. That's a good reference, I think. I've seen some Larraz.
Right.
Jose Ramon Larraz.
So you'd recommend this film to listeners, friends, colleagues?
Yes, I really like terror. I would break this out at parties if I ever had them. Anything else you want to add to the terror talk?
No, it's got Chewbacca in it.
Yes, it does. That was awesome. Did not see that one coming. Probably because I didn't do my research, but hey, that's what makes a great show, not doing research. We're going to take a break. Do we have question time this time?
We do. We've got 2 questions this time.
Oh, wow. 2 questions, and we're going to go through some feedback, and yeah. Come back and stay with us. We'll only charge you mostly rent.
Hello, my name is Rod Barnett.
I'm Troy Gwynn.
And we are your genial co-hosts for NaschyCast, the podcast about the films of Paul Naschy. If you don't know who Paul Naschy is, you need to learn.
Spanish horror icon, writer, director, actor, makeup artist.
He is all of these things and more. Paul Naschy, one of the greatest genre filmmakers of all time. Do titles like Tar Rises from the Tomb,
Vengeance of the Mummy, Werewolf Shadow,
House of Psychotic Women,
Blue Eyes of the Broken Doll.
Mark of the Werewolf make you want to see more?
Watch the film, then come hear our stunning, brilliant commentary.
Stunning and brilliant. That's us. Think that's too egotistical? You think that sounds silly? Think we come off as assholes?
Look, if nothing else, let us tell you this. Blood, nudity, beautiful women, werewolves and turtlenecks.
Nipples. Lots of nipples. Both male and female. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's going to want to listen to us after this, man. Find us at The Bloody Pit of Rod, or
You can subscribe to us on iTunes.
give us a listen. And if we scare you too much, well, maybe Spanish horror is not your thing. I don't know.
Do you enjoy movies like Carnival of Souls, The Mole People, Black Sunday, and The Tingler? Do you find yourself late at night reading magazines such as Film Max, Chiller Theater, or Monster Bash? Do you love vintage television programs like Sky King, Outer Limits, and The Time Tunnel? Do you find yourself surfing the net looking for the next monster movie festival or expo? Do you enjoy hearing anecdotes, cinematic details, and unusual insights into some of your favorite movies? If you answered yes to any of the above, you're encouraged to join your host, Vince Rotolo, as he examines some of the latest horror, sci-fi, and cult theatrical releases, new DVDs to add to your collection, and of course, the old classics, both good and bad. He even interviews people throughout B-Moviedom. So tune into B-Movie-Cast at bmoviecast.com.
Hammer Film Productions began in 1934, and after producing almost 200 films and television programs, the studio is still releasing and re-releasing new and classic film titles. 1951 Downplace is the podcast that brings you the story of the great Hammer films, one movie at a time. Here are your hosts, describing what Hammer means to them. First is Casey.
Hammer means the beautiful and glamorous women of Hammer horror, the engaging storytelling, and amazing period films.
Joining him is Derek.
Hammer means the incredible work of actors like Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and even Michael Ripper. The gothic storytelling, the incredible music, and the set pieces.
And finally, here's Scott.
Hammer, that's vodka and orange juice.
This boy has a lot to learn. Join our hosts as they make their journey through the Hammer Films catalogue and discuss each film with critical opinion, historical facts, production notes, and other information about these classic films. 1951 Downplace can be found in iTunes or their website, www.1951downplace.com.
Wait, that's a screwdriver.
1951 Downplace, the home of Hammer Films discussion.
Okay, we are back. We had our little break, and you got to hear from some podcasts that you should check out. And now it's question time with Brad.
Okay, I've got two questions this evening.
Do it.
Question number one. Norman J. Warren or Pete Walker?
Ooh. That's actually a really easy question. I'm going to go with Norman J. Warren.
Nice.
And the reason I say that is because right now I want to watch more Norman J. Warren. I would have to kind of work myself up to do Pete Walker, because some of Pete Walker's stuff is a little more slowly paced, a little more deliberate, a little more serious, whereas, at least I think it's serious. Maybe he's just really, really sarcastic and I don't know it. But, sorry, the cat's distracting. I would have to say that Norman J. Warren, more entertaining, thus I would rather watch his stuff right now.
Okay.
That was easy. What about you?
I can't. It's a tough question. I thought that you'd have more trouble answering it. Pete Walkers are always more. They always have money behind them, and I like them quite a bit. But I see them as different sides of the same coin.
Similar dudes.
Yeah, they both did some really good work in the field of horror.
Oh, no doubt. I was really smitten with Frightmare, but I haven't seen it in years.
I enjoyed, we had that Pete Walker-thon, and I gotta say, I could do it again this weekend. No joke.
Nice.
House of Whipcord.
I still have never seen that.
It's a good movie.
I think I have it somewhere.
Did you ever see Schizo?
No, shamefully. You sent it to me. I still haven't watched it.
It's overlong, but I really enjoy it. Let's see, The Comeback. Did you see The Comeback?
Not yet. I have that one too.
You get around to those, you will be like, oh yeah.
Why did I wait so long? Yeah.
Question number 2.
Bring it.
Is a listener submitted question from Elizabeth.
I am familiar with Elizabeth's work.
Right. We're all very fond of her.
Yes.
Elizabeth wants to know, who is your favorite Euro crime director?
My favorite Euro crime director?
And this goes back to what we talked about earlier.
Well, I must preface before I even attempt to answer, I'm not the most seasoned Euro crime person. I've watched quite a few. I'm gonna go ahead and say, just from the films in the set, that Fernando De Leo is my favorite.
Okay.
But Umberto Lenzi, close second. Like, if I could find just a couple more Umberto Lenzi crime films I haven't seen, which I'm sure there's at least a dozen of his I haven't seen, he could overtake him. Because that was the thing that really shocked me. Because when I started getting into Italian horror, I got into Umberto Lenzi because of 7 Bloodstained Orchids, and because of Eyeball and the Giallo stuff. And then I went ahead and I watched like Black Demons and a few other things, and the cannibal movies. It wasn't until I saw his crime films that I was like, oh shit, this is Lenzi. He's at home in this genre. So, I mean, I'm glad he did everything that he did. So, I'd say for now, at the point you're asking me now, I'll go with Fernando De Leo, but Umberto Lenzi, close second and maybe easily overtaking once I do get to a few more of his films.
First of all, Elizabeth's Euro crime director is Fernando De Leo.
Okay.
For me, and I like you, we've seen a lot of them. We've kind of been stockpiling them.
Yeah.
And I've got another discussion point after this that is involved with this. But for me, it comes down to 3. It comes down to Umberto Lenzi, Fernando De Leo, and Enzo Castellari. Now, like Stelvio Massi did a couple of crime films, I think. One of them I know I've seen.
Right.
I know that there's some here and there. Mario Caiano.
Oh, yeah.
I've got, from Netflix, I've got Violent City, which is a Bronson crime film that's directed by Sergio Solima, who I like.
I have never seen that entire film. I did not like that the first time. I didn't get through it.
I haven't seen it at all.
I have a feeling I'd get through it now. I think Violent City was one of the first Eurocrime films I saw. I'd watched probably Revolver, and then I might have seen something like Street Law, and I think I got Street Law and The Big Racket at the same time. And very little compares to those two films for me. Those are just freaking great. So
great, fantastic film.
I think Violent City got kind of bowled over, because that one's the pacing is a little slower, so I kind of got lost.
More likely to be lumped in with Bronson films than it would be Eurocrime, I would say.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now, something that a topic that I find interesting, and commented on Justin's Italian Lemonade blog.
Yes.
And one thing I asked him was if he'd seen the Eurocrime films. He said he'd seen a few, and but did he prefer Gialli? Now, when we were in the depths of our let's buy every giallo that we possibly can,
Right.
and doing research into Italian genre cinema, I discovered the Eurocrime film, and I thought, I'm going to like that as well as I do giallo. And I thought that it would be a hard transition, and it wasn't for me at all. I was afraid that it was going to be. I mean, for me, Violent Naples is like watching The Fifth Chord. There's the same level of excitement for me. So was there a hard transition for you? Because I know that you, like once you get into something, then you want to have everything that there possibly is to have in that. You start investigating outlying genres.
Yeah. I'd say that both the Eurocrime and to some extent the spaghetti westerns, when I finally got around to those because of Italian horror and because of giallos, those genres were a little difficult. I think it might just be that I don't love action movies. It was harder for me to get into those genres, but like you said, once you're into a certain type of film, and this being Italian genre cinema, you're going to start getting everything. I mean, I have even dipped my toe into very difficult waters, which is the Peplum, the Sword and Sandal epic movies, and that is almost impenetrable. Unless you're Steve Reeves, that's a very difficult genre to get into for me. I mean, but I feel drawn to it because it's Italian cinema. I think I just really like Italian trash cinema. So their throwaway movies just fascinate me.
Well, and my thinking is, did you enjoy Franco Nero in The Fifth Chord? Well, check out Franco Nero in Django. Did you enjoy Franco Nero in The Fifth Chord? Well, check out Franco Nero in Street Law.
Franco Nero is his own genre, damn it.
I mean, the same goes for a lot of the actors like George Hilton. Did you enjoy George Hilton and the 30 giallo he made? Well, check out George Hilton in Massacre Time.
Yeah, I mean, I even sat through The Devil Has Seven Faces that I think Carol Baker and him.
Carol Baker,
Yeah, that, and that. I'm not saying that's a bad movie. The copy that's available in Region 1, I think it's the Alpha Digital, it seems like there's stuff missing, and the print's not that great. But, of course, I watched it.
Right.
Because George Hilton was in it. I mean, it's like Edwidge Fenech, or Edwig Fenech, aside from her being stunningly gorgeous and naked in almost everything she does, she is a draw for, I finished watching her giallos and I started watching her sex comedies.
Right.
And,
well, it's like, if you enjoyed her in Strange Life of Mrs. Ward, you should definitely check out, Giovanna Longthigh.
Yeah.
Which is a Sergio Martino.
Oh, yeah.
Sex comedy, which I think is her best of what I've seen so far.
Hey, she led me down a road on a very contentious film in our household, which was not Cry of a Prostitute. Oh shit.
Trip Nude for Your Killer?
No surprise butt sex. Well, maybe she was what was the one where she was a prostitute? Secrets of a Call Girl.
Secrets of a Call Girl. I haven't seen that.
Okay. She led me to a very painful film memory of watching Secrets of a Call Girl with my wife, because hey, we figured it's Edwidge Fenech. She likes to do the giallos. She'll be great in this movie.
Right.
And Secrets of a Call Girl, it's very depressing, and it is pretty much, if it's a feminist movie, it's a cautionary tale. If it's not a cautionary tale, then it's an anti-feminist movie. Man, my wife got so pissed off at this movie because she just falls in with this scumbag piece of shit asshole, abusive motherfucker, and it just all goes downhill from there. Her whole life is just ruined by this frickin' pimp. And it was so impossible to figure out what she wanted with this guy in the first place. He was so terrible. But anyway.
There's some overlaps, too.
Yeah.
In the genres, because, like, Martino's The Suspicious Death of a Minor is a Eurocrime film and a giallo.
Yeah.
Kind of at the same time. Fatal Frame with Maurizio Merli has got some giallo elements, but also Eurocrime.
And Joan Collins. My question to you, Brad.
Yes.
Would you wear a used dickie from Peter Bogdanovich?
Yes.
Without washing it first?
You like his ascot? Dark?
Not his ascot, his dickie. Damn it! You're ruining the show. This is why we can't do our 21st episode now.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's okay, we'll still record it later.
We got some feedback?
We got some crazy big feedback. Emphasis on the big, less emphasis on the crazy. From our good friend, Martin Luther Presley.
Which I believe is a pseudonym.
Yes, it is definitely a pseudonym. He sent 2 very long comments. Bear with me if I'm reading these totally ridiculously because I haven't, memorized them or anything yet. Regarding episode 13, which was our Case of the Bloody Iris / Richard is Drinking episode, Martin Luther Presley says, don't you think I didn't get the Fugazi reference? 'Cause I did, and I thought to myself, wicked awesome. As for the rest of the actual movie references, well, I'm only 12 and a half. What's your excuse? P.S. The Friday the 13th remake? Really? I surprisingly liked the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, which I hadn't planned to do, though I have to say out of the classic slasher franchises, Nightmare is the most charmingly dated, but also most consistently good. Folks just remember number 2 as a gay movie and the rest as too comical. But once you actually revisit them, they're quite awesome, scary, and quite illogical in their own twisted way. Unlike Halloween 4 and beyond, which make no sense at all, and probably more awesome than you remember, except for number 6, which is horribly, horribly bad. Number 7 is awesome. Go revisit that one. It's fucking great. So I gave it being the Friday the 13th remake, a fair chance, and really hated it, 100% hated it, a bit like a mentally challenged, boring version of their Texas Chainsaw remake without Jessica Biel in a wet wife beater, so what's the point? It didn't come across as an F-13 movie at all. It had one of the best gratuitous nudity scenes ever. Capitalize on the ever. But apart from that, it is among the worst films I've ever seen. Really. I literally hated everyone in the movie, including the lead dude, my hero, who popped Rory Gilmore's cherry. They were all a bunch of obnoxious brats, and I hoped they'd all die, which is, in fact, something I don't really care for in slasher teen horror flicks. I'm old school and really want someone to cheer for. Like the typical final girl. F-13 Redux was terrible. Really. Reconsider, baby, as the king would have said. Now I have to rewind the episode, because I haven't been listening for the last 15 minutes. The F-13 stuff was in a different episode, I think. Guys, I'm improvising here. Give me a break. And he went on to say something about apologizing for the rant, but of course, we want people to rant at us.
Now, I was on the other side of the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Okay.
But you enjoyed it.
I liked it. I felt guilty about liking it, though.
Well, I didn't like it. But mean, that's okay. I'm probably on the side of the people that hate you and I. So, but the Friday the 13th remake, I enjoyed it.
I was, okay, I avoided the Friday the 13th remake. I said, no fucking way, no way, I'm not doing this. So I did not go see it in theaters.
I went to the theater.
My good friend Nafa, who we'll hopefully have on the show one of these days, if we ever get around to it, he loved the Friday the 13th remake, and he made me watch it, and we sat there, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was great. Didn't change my life, but some of the references to the other films I was really happy to see, so I liked it.
I liked it. I mean, it was a bunch of teenagers that got killed by Jason.
When one of them had the greatest breasts ever.
I'm with you, MLP, on that one, for sure.
Hell yeah. That's one from Mr. Martin Luther Presley. The second one is on our most recent show on The Demon with Cameron Mitchell.
Cam Mitchell.
Good old Cam. And Martin Luther Presley said, I just cheated a bit and listened to the first half hour of the show because I haven't watched The Demon yet. I haven't even heard of it until now, but I enjoyed what I've heard so far. I haven't watched a whole lot of movies this year, but I do feel the urge to get back into it now. If this translates in your mind to Martin Luther Presley gets excited by our hot horror talk, you wouldn't be wrong. I strongly encourage you to do a show on Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. I'm quick to hate stuff, though to my credit, if I may say so myself, I'm also quick to change my mind once I realize I'm wrong. And the original Halloween is a serious contender for my all-time favorite horror film, but the general hatred for zombies Halloween films puzzles me to no end. And this from Halloween fans who are used to suffering through terrible shit like Halloween 5 and 6? Granted, I like zombies' earlier stuff a lot, and might therefore be biased, but I think I could somehow understand if zombies' take on the franchise was just not appreciated. But the passionate hatred for the film is he says mind-buffling, but he probably means mind-baffling.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, number 2 is a bit weird and flawed, I must admit, and again, I can understand if one just doesn't care for it. In both cases, the director's cuts are much better, I think. But number 1? I think it's pretty damn awesome. And not just because I want to do the sexy sex with Laurie. I actually think it's a prime example of how to do a remake, which, contrary to popular opinion, is not such a bad thing in itself. It's just that so many in the past 15 years have been so incredibly bad and pointless in the way they were made that you just get sick of the idea. So please do a show on those, even if you end up treated like Taliban communists. I'll still tune in. Also, I'm so glad you made me watch, that's so, with 3 O's, my friends. So glad you made me watch My Soul to Take. I loved it. It's one of those films that made me wonder what's wrong with people. I think it's a great new entry in the slasher genre, and I hope it will find its place in horror movie history, so thank you for covering that one. The Ward, well, let's just say so-so. It's not that I didn't enjoy it, and I did jump a few times in my seat, but I don't need to watch it again anytime soon. That's it for now. Turbulent times for me at the moment, but I hope to find the time to watch more stuff again and again. Stop being so behind on my favorite blog podcast as I've been lately. Cheers, MLP. Whew.
Well, first of all, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, sir, for your wonderful words.
Because that's the sort of thing that makes us keep doing this.
Yes, we love podcasts. We also love people. We love podcasts. We love recording this show, but we really love hearing from you guys. And
yeah, because I'm still not sure that people even like us. Or me, in particular.
Oh, I know people like us. I know it in my heart and my butt. But yes, we have been talking for a long time about doing Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2. The main thing is we really want to include my good friend Nafa. He is the person that forced me to go to the theater to see Halloween 2 or H2, before it went out and disappeared forever. And I loved it. And I was raving about it. And then when we were done, he's like, I was really curious about what you thought. And he's like, and after I watched it 4 times in theaters, I figured I better talk to you about it. I was like, what? He just went and saw it like over and over again. So, and I loved Halloween 1. I was really into it.
Where Martin Luther Presley says that Halloween, the original Halloween, is a serious contender for his favorite horror film of all time, I'll go ahead and say that it is my favorite film period of all time.
Yeah.
So, when people give me nonsense about Rob Zombie's Halloween, I'm like, look, the original Halloween is my favorite film period. My horror film, period. So, it's not any kind of heresy for me to enjoy Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2. Now, they are universally hated. And when I say universally, I mean universally. And I don't understand why. And I commented back to him off that second message. I gave him as a preamble to my thoughts on the Halloween show, is that people were surprised when Rob Zombie delivered a Rob Zombie film.
What?
Yeah, I mean, these are the same people that saw House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. What did they think he was going to do? As a second item, and then I won't say any more, we'll save it for the show, but he, in my opinion, has improved with every film he has done.
Oh, yeah.
I think The Devil's Rejects is better than House of a Thousand Corpses. I enjoy Halloween more than The Devil's Rejects, and I think Halloween 2 is better than Halloween.
Nice.
So, he's had a clear progression for me. I don't know why people, I just don't understand it. It's not replacing. You don't say, well, there's a new Halloween, so we have to forget about the original Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween, he's right, Halloween 5 is not very good. Now, I have a soft spot in my heart for part 6, because everybody hates it, and I finally got to see the producer's cut, which makes a little more sense.
Yeah. Did you like the producer's cut more, or was it just like, whatever?
It's hard for me to say off one viewing, because I've seen 6, the regular theatrical cut, so many times, and there's huge inconsistencies. But I've always said, the Halloween series is, for as good as the first 2 films are, how the third one is great, but not a Halloween film, and 4 is good. It's fell off. It's gotten much worse treatment as films than, say, the Friday the 13th series.
Right.
It had a much quicker dropping off point. Really. Because, people hate Friday the 13th Part 5, but a lot of people like 6 coming back, and by the time you're to Halloween 6, you're like, I'm signing off.
Yeah.
There's not a film in the Friday the 13th series that's as ridiculous as Halloween Resurrection. There's just not. No, I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to, I don't think we'll be changing anyone's minds.
No.
At all.
But I think it'll be a lot of fun to just go through it. So we will eventually do that.
Yeah, and I'd really like to discuss it with Nafa and get his viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because Nafa has been watching a lot of films a lot longer than I have, and I would like to get his perspective on it, because I know he's not just, what am I trying to say? I know there'll be a reason behind his opinion. Yeah.
He's not just a pretty face.
That's right, although he is, from what I've gathered.
He's a beautiful man. If you are curious about my good friend, he has a blog called cinema1153.blogspot.com, and I'll throw a link when I post the show. And he hasn't posted a lot, but he's written some really cool insights to the movies that shaped his childhood. Some very cool and rather strange things. So we'll eventually do that. I have to admit, as far as Halloween goes, 1, 2, and 3, I include 3 in the list, because I like 3 for what it is, which is not a Halloween movie. I like 4 a lot. I've only seen part of 5 on cable.
You don't need to see 5.
I know. I'm going to watch 5 anyway. The reason I never finished it was because of the comedy cops. And it wasn't even the fact that the cops were the comedy cops. It was the fact that the comedy cops had their little theme song.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a boom, 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 blip, bloop, boop, boop, or whatever. That just, I was like, nope, not watching this. I did see some of the stalking scene at the end, which I thought was really cool looking, but I will formulate my opinion when I actually see it. I have never seen Halloween 6. Though I have it, and I'm going to watch it one of these days, definitely before we talk about anything Halloween-related in depth.
There's some nonsense in it, but I went to the theater and saw it, and I don't know, I just liked it.
And Halloween H2O, I love that one. Don't know what it is about that one. I really enjoy it. And Halloween Resurrection, unbelievable. Amazing. Like, I knew what I was getting into when I rented it. Because this is way back. This is back when my wife and I were still dating. And I was trying to clean up at Hollywood Video and try to rent everything. And it occurred to me that I didn't even know. I'd seen maybe a trailer for Halloween Resurrection. We got it, and we're just sitting there like, what?
What? Like the card player, but yet I'd rather watch the card player.
This is the mecca of internet poker. Fuck you, Dario Argento. I can forgive anything but the card player, man. God. Oh.
You know what? If the lead had been played by who was originally supposed to play it, you would like it.
Well, I would. Well, I don't dislike the girl who plays the lead in the card player, and she's not the problem. And knowing that it should have been Asia Argento, but she didn't do it because I think she went and did XXX.
Yeah, I think
not the porno, the movie with Vin Duder. But yeah, so he recast with the chick is okay. I hate the killer's motivation at the end of the movie. And I hate the poker scenes. And not the poke her scenes. The fucking internet poker. Oh. Unentertaining. Fucking nightmare. Jeez.
That's how you really feel.
I'll tell you how I really feel.
Like R2-D2 having an orgasm.
R2-D2 doesn't have orgasms. He causes them in me. So anyway, Rob Zombie, what a character, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? I'm actually looking forward to, what's this new one he's doing? Lords of Salem?
Yeah.
You know what I almost said? I almost said Lords of Flatbush.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Directed by Rob Zombie.
Woo! Henry Winkler. As I become more of an adult, or more childish, whichever, Henry Winkler has a really dirty name.
Mm-hmm.
Hey! Next episode, we're doing Lords of Flatbush.
Yep, tune in.
In preparation for Lords of Salem. Actually, we do know what our next episode's going to be.
What is our next episode?
Our next episode is a bootleg special. And that's not something dirty you get in the back room from Hans the mailman. Hans the mailman. Is that like Hans Mole Man? From good old Cinema de Bazaar, we picked up a film called Dark Echoes. And I'm not going to recommend you go buy it. But you should go to Cinema de Bazaar and go buy something else. And if you get a free movie, then maybe get Dark Echoes. But I'm not saying anything else about it.
If you get a free movie, movie, contact us and we'll tell you what to get, and you can send it to us.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe we'll send you Dark Echoes so you don't have to actually get it. And from Euro Trash Cinema, I picked up a film called House on the Outskirts, which I do recommend. Just check that out. So we're going to cover those two films. So it's Spanish and German-ish.
The Slavian horror.
Slavian horror. So yeah, that's what we're going to do next episode. So tune in.
Croatian.
For the Croatian horrors. So yeah, Dark Echoes and House on the Outskirts. And Lords of Flatbush. What the hell? IMDb is so stupid. They have it as the Lords 'S of Flatbush. I'm gonna... IMDb, you're stupid.
I'm officially breaking up with IMDb.
Oh, I think I'm gonna propose merge. Merge.
Propose murder.
Okay, folks, thanks for tuning in. Good night.
Good night.